Fanzone, united by the game, powered by Moore's World of Sport.
Welcome to Fanzone, your hottest and latest destination for all Zimbabwean sports. We're bringing you passion, drama, and non-stop action, all happening here in the Fanzone studio. My name is Sips.
And I'm Steve Vickers. 8 of the 9 games in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League ending in draws this past weekend. Only Caps United are guaranteeing their survival. 8 more teams in the relegation picture going into matchday 34, and 3 of those will go down. Also, it's a Warriors week. Zimbabwe playing in 2 upcoming friendlies against Qatar and Algeria. And in the cricket, playing Pakistan and Sri Lanka in a tri-series coming up as well. Also in cricket, a very abrupt ending to the career of the legend Sean Williams. Has he been treated fairly by Zimbabwe cricket? Lots to talk about on the show. Welcome back to Simba Chiminya, StarFm Sportscaster.
Thank you very much, Steve. Nice to be back on the show.
Exciting stuff in Division 1, of course, as well to talk about.
Yes, something that not many people thought was going to happened over the weekend.
Agama.
Nobody really thought they were going to win it.
Yep, so what a surprise end to the Northern region. And it's welcome back to ZiFM Sportscaster, Marc Pozzo. Hey, Marc.
Hey, Steve, thank you for having me.
Great to have you on the show. You actually say welcome back. You were on show number 1.
That's right.
And this is
We've
show
come
number
a long way.
26?
Yes.
25 weeks later.
I'm back. Nice to be here. Thank you, guys.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, so lots to talk about, starting in the match day 33 over the weekend. As Steve had said previously, 8 out of 9 draws, but a very crucial draw between Caps United and Moore's FC. Goalless draw, but nonetheless they ensure their survival in the PSL. Caps, they survive yet another season. Quite forgetful for them, but they've done just enough to get themselves through.
Yeah, so why so many draws? I guess teams are a bit fearful going into matchday 33 because there's so much at stake in that relegation battle. It was a poor game at Rufaro Stadium. Ismail Wadi should have sealed it, had a very easy chance in the second half, but that's the point that they needed. Some fans are saying, can't we still be overtaken as Caps fans? But they can't because we've got 4 of the teams below them playing each other. So mathematically, nobody can put Caps down into the relegation zone now. So they are safe. Not the case for many other teams, though.
Yeah. Arthur Band also with an opportunity, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and just managed to fluff it. So goalless draw at Rufaro Stadium. Another exciting draw at the Moores and Gorney Stadium was the Yada versus Dynamos. Late drama, Steve. You know, Evan Josika, super sub, coming off from the bench, scoring in stoppage time. And then Issachar Mohammed, 2 minutes later, again in stoppage time. How often do you see that?
That was a thrilling game. Really, really exciting finale, at least there. Rusike showed why he is a former Warrior. A driving run down the left. Got past Issachar Mohammed, the Ghanaian centre-back. Fired in from an acute angle. Really good finish from Evans Rusike. Then Issachar, who was somewhat responsible for that goal that Dynamos conceded, made amends 2 minutes later. Lovely cross in from Abel Guatito, and Issachar Mohammed headed that one home. And still there's so many permutations for Dynamos and for Yada. We know they can make a great escape, but for the game itself, what a finale that was.
Yeah, it's almost as if a script is being written for Dynamos, just the trajectory that they've had in the second half of the season. Marc, you came on the first episode. We were discussing Dynamos, their poor form. Fans are wanting to boycott stadiums. They're still in the relegation tussle, but they've gone 8-9 games unbeaten. How often does that happen to a team in sports, in any sport?
I think you've got to look at Dynamos and say that they're fighters. They're the old guard. And I distinctly remember being on this very first show when we were talking about the start of the new season, and there were these new up-and-coming teams, Scotland FC, Moore's World of Sport. You still had the stalwarts of Dynamos, Highlanders, Caps United, and yes, it didn't go according to the scripts for all 3 of those teams this season. But you know what? Dynamos have just got that resilient, I don't know what it is, but they just continue to survive, and I think they are going to survive this Premier League season. And how, I don't know, but they've done it, and it just shows what a big club that they can be.
Yeah, they've definitely proved, that they are the giants of Zimbabwean football, how they've managed to survive.
Yeah.
How many times, Steve, did you and I sit in this set saying, it's done. It's over for Dynamos.
Post-match interview, Kelvin Kaindu, the coach, again said, God is with us. That's how we managed that late equaliser.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us sitting here would actually even fathom going into a brand new Premier League season without Dynamos in the top flight. I mean, it's just something that none of us have ever experienced, have we?
I think it's also about character, because conceding in the 90th minute and another team could have just crumbled, because you should have just given in and said, no, we have lost this game. But Isaka Mohamed, I think it was also keeping up with the game that is played for Dynamos this season, since coming in during the second half of the season, has done pretty well. And his positioning as well. Just heading in that goal. So for Dynamos, I think it was a test of character ahead of a tougher match against FC Platinum, the last game of the season, because that game against Yada could have easily buried them when they conceded at the death, and then you find a way to come back into the game.
Yeah, they did show lots of character. They also had to play without Emmanuel July. He had been suspended for that match day. So they dug deep and they managed to get themselves an all-important 1-1 draw against Yada. So there were, although despite the draws, there were a couple of exciting fixtures. And so that brings us to our team of the week. We've got a very exciting lineup. So Steve, for matchday 33, what is the Fanzone team of the week saying?
Yeah, and as always, this is our opinion. You can agree or disagree. You can post your comment in the comments section. For us, the top 11 in a weekend where there were so few goals, only 10 goals in 9 games. Martin Mapisa for Moors in goal. He made 2 crucial saves for that clean sheet for Moors. Isaka Mohamed of Dynamos, as I said, he was at fault somewhat for the goal that Dynamos conceded, but what character then to make amends just 2 minutes later. Also Blessing Moyo for Simba Bora, a superb long-range goal for Blessing. Andrew Mbeba for Highlanders, very big work rate in the game for Pozzo. He had the assist for the Melekang Ngube goal and just put in a great shift for Pozzo. Abubakar Moffat of Moors, good game, good passing once again. What a great signing he was mid-season for Moors. Phineas Bamusi for Caps United should have had an assist really, because he laid that chance on for Ismail Wadi, which was squandered, and some other good opportunities created for Bamusi, now a veteran but still playing so well. Munashir Bamara of Triangle once again impressed us. He's had a very solid season in midfield. Evans Rusike, the super sub, top-notch goal from him for Yada. Elton and Genie for Triangle, 2 goals against Kwekwe United, 4-0 scoreline there. And also Shingai Masukuta of Yada. He had a good game up front as well. So that's our team of the week. As always, you can have your say. You might think we've got it wrong with some players. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, Iska Mohammed definitely deserved his spot on the team of the week, from my personal opinion. But our player of the week is going to be Andrew Mbeba from Highlanders. Just his work rate, he has shone time and time again for Highlanders, and a great assist in what he put through. So he is our team player of the week from the Fanzone side. Simba, there's been some very exciting news in Division 1, 2 and newly promoted teams to the PSL. What has been happening over the weekend? What happened over the weekend in Division 1?
Yeah, it was really interesting in Division 1 as SIPSA. We started with the Northern region, and for the greater part of the campaign, it was Ngombe Aora who were leading, and it looked like they were shoe-in and they were going to just finish the job against Moors under-19, but it was not to be, because they come unstuck there, and they fell 1-0 to a wonder free kick from Brendan Mpofu. Brendan Mpofu, you remember him from Dynamo's Chicken Inn, Blower Chiefs. And you could tell that Moors under-19 really wanted to win this game. And also on the terraces, the fans really sang throughout the game. And there was also a song that they were singing that they were fighting for Agama. And indeed, they fought for Agama. And for Ngombe Aora, to crumble on the last day, after leading all these other months. And you look at even the games that they had won previously, 7-0, 5-0. But this one important game, they were so much under pressure. And I saw it happening again in 2019 in the Central Region. Shesham leading from the start of the season without losing a game, and lost the last game of the season to Zimbabwean, and then it ended the title to Wawa. The same thing happened again. Agama, for the better part of the campaign, they were just breathing behind the neck of Ngombe Aora. And on the last day, they came to the party. Gray Kufandada, former Hirenta Zablaya Chiefs, Talent Vision, scored 4 goals. And those 4 goals were really crucial for them. They won it. Paul Chimalizeni, the coach, he was brought in after the firing of Arthur Tus Tutani. And he had just left Simba Bora, and probably the first coach to go on loan in Zimbabwe. He was on loan at Kwekwe United, and then he was brought back to Mashonaland Central Province, and he brought Agama into the Premier League, the first team from Mount Darwin, and probably the third team after Simba Bora and Mwana Africa to play, so fourth rather, with Mshoan Stars to play in the PSL. So it was good for Agama, and big disappointment for Ngombe Aora, because even during the second half of the season, they made so much massive investments in terms of bringing in players that were doing well. Rasechi Fura was scoring for fun at Harare City. They brought in Eli Ilunga, a veteran, but it didn't work out. And in the Central Region again, we saw a new team also getting to win the title. Hardrock managing to do it with a game to spare. So they are the Central Region champions. They managed to beat MSU by 2-0. And one of the senior players in that team, Donald Ngoma, scoring a goal. And he is one of the senior players in that team along with Devon Chaffa. And talking about Devon Chaffa, this is now his 8th medal. 7th the Premier League with Dynamo's FC Platinum and Capes United. And now in the Central Region with Hardrock. And also their coach, Calvin Maposa, he was a 2-time losing finalist with Tongogara in the last 3 seasons. So I think it was now time for him to win, and he managed to do that. So celebrations coming in.
Yeah, I saw lots of videos, celebrations, the whole of Kwekwe just going up in arms.
Yeah, and now they're talking about now how they're also going to conquer in the Premier League, because I understand a number of seasoned players are also on their way there, because I saw quite a number of player agents, managers who were at Baghdad Stadium for their match against MSU, and you could tell. Look at their stadium. I think when it's completed next year, it's going to host even the national games, because they are ticking the boxes. At the weekend, they had a consultant who has done jobs with CAF, so they are ticking every box. And they've got a good beer arena. They also have got villas just behind the stadium. So I think a number of players.
This is Chawanda Stadium.
Chawanda Stadium. Yeah. So I think a number of players are going to cross flow from the top teams to Hardrock.
So Hardrock should be playing in Kwekwe. What about Agama? Will they be playing in Mount Darwin?
Yeah, it's their stadium, Pura Stadium, is not up to standard. So I think they are going to play their games at Wadzane Stadium. This is the closest homologated stadium to them. So they'll just move to, I think it's about 68 kilometers from Bindura, and then about 20-something or 30 k's from Bindura to Wadzanai. So it's still within a less than 100 kilometer range. They'll play in Wadzanai.
Have these teams that are being promoted, that are coming up, have they got the financial backing to sustain themselves in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League?
Yeah, I think for this time around, Hardrock, no doubt. I think Hardrock will be competing against Scotland and Moors in terms of financial stability. And then you look at Blair Chiefs, they are stable as well. They are better than they were when they were in the PSL. And my worry is on FC Hunters. I think they're the only team that doesn't have that financial stability. And Agama as well, they are not really up there in terms of funding. So I think the two teams that are coming in, Agama and FC Hunters, I think those are the two teams that doesn't have stable financial stability. But as for Hardrock and Blair Chiefs, I think they are solid.
Yeah. Now, on this topic, should the PSL maybe be responsible, or ZIFA, to just help subsidize these teams? Maybe just tie up a couple of loose ends just to keep them afloat in the PSL?
Yeah, you look what happens in other countries. Even when you look, you win the championship, say in England or in South Africa, when you win the Motsepe Foundation League, and then you are given a stipend at the end of the season. The money that you are given will cushion you as you get players that are experienced and help you in terms of your pre-season planning. But here it's difficult because you look at how much are these clubs going to get for winning the Central region, the Northern region, the Eastern region. There isn't much, if there is anything at all. So that's where the problem now is, because financially there is nothing that comes from the leagues.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So the 4 regions in Division 1 have been confirmed. The teams Agama, Bloya Chiefs, FC Hunters, and Hardrock as well are going through to the PSL. So exciting news happening. And as you had said, Simba, Ngombe have been leading the whole season and then losing the top spot in the last day of the match.
Last day of the season.
Yeah, as same as with the predictor, Icon 505 has had a fall from grace, Steve. He has moved all the way down to 5th. Simba is currently in the top spot. He's kept that top spot, but as I said, Icon 505 has dropped many points. Teacher Warner has come into 3rd. It seemed to be quite a good weekend for a lot of predictors. Fofo 10 has come in 4 places. He's sitting in 7th and 8th. And then King Pod has come in 7 places and he's sitting in 7th. And Simba stretches his lead by 19 points.
Wow.
With just one more prediction to do. Sure. All he has to do is essentially park the bus. Yeah. Or park the Suzuki Espresso, maybe. Right. Or he should be saying
He's
that.
nearly there. I had a strategy early this season of going for a lot of nil-nil draws in my predictor, but I moved away from that. So that cost me this past weekend. I got the Kwekwe United to lose again as my main successful prediction there, but that was hard. I didn't see all those draws coming.
Well, what if you, Simba, if you had to do predictions over the weekend, would you have done well, fairly well? It was quite a hard weekend to predict.
I did. The Dynamos game, I said it's going to end in a draw. And I also knew that Scotland Greenfield was also going to end in a draw.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said so?
Yeah.
How come you put that as a draw?
I knew it was going to be difficult for Scotland. I think after the celebrations. Yeah. And for Greenfield, they play well, but like they've done all the season, they failed to score. Yeah,
Coach Tonderai Darius said the Scotland players, it was hard to get them focused and they were partying all week since they took the titles. So if I thought about it, I would have put that game for a draw.
Yeah, it makes sense now, especially playing at the Greenfield Arena. So as we've said, guys, there's only one weekend left. There is a bye this weekend, so you can rest. But with only one more weekend to do, guys, you have to watch that top 10, watch the space. It's going to be very enticing. Will Simba bottle his leadership as Icon has done, or will he stay at the top? But it's a fanzone.co.zw. If you're feeling lucky, maybe just one prediction to put your toes in the water for next season. But we'll be talking about the Warriors week and their matches coming up and looking ahead. Yes, it is a Warriors weekend. The Warriors are traveling to Saudi Arabia, where they'll be playing Algeria this Thursday in an international friendly. It's going to be somewhat different, Steve, because as news had it, it's going to be the first appointment for the newly appointed head coach, Mario Marinica. So interesting times. Obviously, not much preparation. 1.5, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So results are going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, sure. At least ZIFA got this appointment done before these friendlies. It gives the coach a couple of games, and then maybe we'll have another friendly or two when we arrive in Morocco. So that's the good thing about it. But I'm really not that inspired by Marinica's appointment. Everybody's got their own opinion when it comes to Warriors coach. But it just seems like it's a like for like, not much different really from Mike on Nice, and I would have let Nice take us to AFCON, finish off his duties there, and then appoint. It's only a 1-year contract, so that's not giving much time or even much confidence from ZIFA. But Marinica, like Nice, had quite a technical background. He was technical director at Malawi, same as Nice, had that sort of background as well. But he was shifted to coach ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations, the 2021 edition that was played in 2022 in Cameroon. And he beat the Warriors there 2-1. So that's one thing we know about him. He has beaten the Warriors, but he's not really much higher profile than Michael Nice. Doesn't have a great win record. I know there's a lot of debate about that. ZIFA defended themselves saying, yes, the coach's win record isn't high, but you've got to put that in context. That's fair enough, but it doesn't give me any more confidence going into the AFCON that we fired Michael Nice and got a new coach. So to me, not the most inspiring. We have the likes of Patrice Neveu, the Frenchman who coached Guinea, got them to the AFCON quarterfinals, but much more expensive. So again, we've gone within the price bracket that we can afford.
Was somebody like Chris Hughton in the running?
Yes, but I don't know how we thought we would have paid him, honestly.
Harry Redknapp was another name that was thrown in the hat.
I mean, there are like 300 applications somewhere there, we believe, but there was no way we could have afforded anyone like that.
If I asked you that they replaced Michael Nice going into AFCON, would you have appointed a temporary coach to lead us into AFCON, and would you have gone with one of our Castle Lager Premier Soccer League coaches to take Zimbabwe through these friendlies and through to AFCON and then start the new year and then look for a new coach?
Yeah, most definitely. I thought the fact that Caetano Tembo was put as assistant for the last two World Cup qualifiers put him right in the picture. I would have trusted in Caetano for the AFCON. Then maybe seeing how he did there, might have moved on with him and invested in him and the likes of Norman Mapeza, Tonderai Ndirai, these top local coaches, because to me our future would be better off with a local coach. Everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the local coach has changed, but also the team list, there are a couple of new names, a bit of a switch around. Simba, what are some of the new names and your opinions on the Warriors squad?
Yeah, I think you look at Ishema Uchi from Zimbabwe being drawn in as the replacement for the injured Knowledge Msona. And I think for Ishema Uchi, yes, look at his age, I think he should be a regular in that Warrior squad, because what we have been crying for is new blood coming into the national team. If you look at the squad that has been announced, and then you rewind 3 years or even 4 years, you still see the bulk of the players are still the same. And the problem that we have been having is we are too thin in terms of our base, the selection base. We don't have much depth in the squad. And as much as we want to change at the top in terms of the coaches, as long as we don't have the depth, again, there's nothing that we can do. Because you look at even Michael Nice when he came in, he had to go back, Kama Billiard and Knowledge Msona to come back to the Warriors. And when Jairus Tapera was also the coach, he tried to do the same thing and even went further to try and have Nyasham Shekwi back into the team. Why? Because these coaches are seeing that there is much depth. And, every coach, they would want to win at all costs. Why? Because they know that it's hard to satisfy the fans and even the association and the executive, because once you lose 2-3 games, the next thing is the X will be hovering over your head and you're going to be fired. So the problem is what we're having at the moment is we don't have depth. And you can't expect our players to go toe-to-toe with some other teams and expect them, you look at the space of the game that we'll be playing, 3 games in a space of how many days? And it will be really difficult. You need to change the players. But we don't have the depth to do that.
It's true, because 10 years ago there would have been a dozen players in South Africa to choose from. Now there's Washington, Ruby, there's Divine Lunga, not many others at that level.
Just only Thando Ngwenya. And you'd know that almost every other South African team you will be having a Zimbabwean starting. And there was a time that we have those in South Africa and some went to Zambia. But at the moment we don't have, and look at maybe we have only one player that is on top of his game internationally. That is Marshall Mnetz. The rest, except probably the other one is Divine Lunga at Mamelodi Sundowns, the infield players. And then look at the age of the goalkeeper Washington Arubi. Yes, nothing about his age, but 40. But then who are the other goalkeepers that are playing outside the country that are in top form at the moment? We don't have much.
Yeah, there's definitely lots of things to think about. But after months of crying from the fans, pundits, Navaya, the top goal scorer, has been included into the squad. Is that good, Simba, bad? Are you happy to see him maybe the test run? Do you think it'll go well?
Yeah, I think it will be good to judge him after we see him play, because you look, the Warriors and local league are two different ball game altogether, and there are players that are kind of tailor-made for the local league, and then there are players that will rise to the occasion when they play in the national team. So in the national team, it's not just about the form, it's about the technical abilities on how you will be able to play at international level. So for Navaya, he hasn't been tried, so we give him the benefit of doubt. Let's see how he's going to fare when he's given the chance to play. And it's good that we are going to play a powerhouse like Algeria, even if they filled in a second swing side, is to give us competition and to give the coach enough to see and gauge how he is going to play. So for Navaya, I think it would be nice to see him, how he's going to play in those two games. And I hope the coach starts him in those two games, and you'll be able to see how he plays under pressure and against big teams.
Yeah. So, Marc, there's a lot of context going around. A newly appointed coach, some are not happy. There's a couple of new players in there. Do you also share the same sentiment that expectations for these friendlies should be kept to a minimum? How are you feeling about these upcoming friendlies?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of with Steve on this, in that I don't think a lot of people are overly happy about the appointment of the new coach. Are our preparations for AFCON being brought back? I would say yes. I think we've gone a little bit backwards going into AFCON. And like I said, I would have liked to have seen a local coach appointed and guiding us through these two friendly matches, whatever other friendly matches we have ahead of AFCON, and go into AFCON with a local coach that knows the players. You know, we're going backwards. You're bringing in a coach that doesn't really know half of these players. Yeah. So how is that going to help our preparation for a tournament like AFCON? So for me, it's going backwards.
Yeah, especially a one-year contract. There's not much really, especially from the
regardless of the one-year contract. It's the current 2 to 3 months that we've got leading up to AFCON. I just can't see it. I just can't see it working in our favour.
Yeah, well, it's all good us talking, guys. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments about Mario Marinica being appointed, how you expect the Warriors to do in these friendlies, and also for the up-and-coming AFCON. International coach has been a big debate for us, and in the cricketing scene, Justin Salmons, he's South African, so at least he is regional. But we've had some good results recently in October in the cricketing world. Afghanistan came and they toured Zim. A good win in the tests for us. So let's talk a couple about those results. So the tests, we clean sweep. Just a one-off test, won by an innings, and I think 70-odd runs. Yeah. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think it was a good win for us. And like I said before we came on air, Afghanistan. It is known Afghanistan's focus is T20 and one-day international cricket. They believe there's no money in Test cricket, and they have put all their resources into T20 cricket and ODI cricket. However, it was still a good performance from Zimbabwe to beat them by that margin. To win by an innings, I thought Zimbabwe bowled well. I thought they batted well. There were a lot of positives that came out of that, I've got to tell you. Going into the T20s, I knew it was going to be a tough task. Yeah. Afghanistan are no pushovers. And when you know that Rashid Khan is rested for Test cricket because they want him fit and ready for one-day cricket, T20 cricket, a World Cup coming up, they're going to keep a tab on his matches, and it just showed that we struggled against Afghanistan. We struggled against the spin, and that is something that worries me now as we head to Pakistan to play in this triangular series with Sri Lanka. I think it is going to be tough on us. And for us, to move forward. An encouraging thing that actually happened this weekend was Graham Creamer took 9 for 144 for Rhinos against Rocks on Saturday. And I was a little bit disappointed in the third T20 in that he never got a game. Because you've lost the series, you're 2-0 down. Why not try a few other players and let's start building up, because we're going to the subcontinent. It's going to be tough in Pakistan, and yes, no matter what Creamer's age is, he can still turn a cricket ball.
Well, yeah,
and
fantastic
performance. And I believe he will be a key, and he has to start in all those matches in the T20 series, in that triangular series. He has to. But what backup has he got? That's another question. Our strike bowling partnership, they write their names in the team sheet every week. But again, these poor guys are playing a lot of cricket. They're playing T20 cricket, one-day cricket, test cricket. Yeah. And I'm talking about Richard Ngarava and Blessing Mazarabani. They play a lot. They play a lot. And I'm worried that there's going to be a burnout sometime from them.
So do you think we can follow that Afghanistan model of taking one format less seriously if they're not taking test cricket as seriously?
Yes, I do. I also believe that we should be focusing on T20 cricket and ODI cricket. Yes, we're okay at test cricket, but I certainly don't think it's where we want to be, in my opinion. I believe we should be focusing on the shorter version of the game, period.
But the players dream of playing test cricket.
Every player, any cricketer believes they want to play test cricket. It is the ultimate thing to do. But I'm not saying let's bin test cricket as a nation. I think we must still play it. But if you have a look at our calendar this year, we played a lot of test cricket, a lot more than a lot of top nations have played this year. So maybe do we cut that down and try and play more T20 and ODI cricket? I don't know. That my opinion. I believe that's where we need to be focusing.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think we need to focus on continuously qualifying for the World Cups. Yes, we've just qualified again for the T20 World Cup, but it's not a regular appearance. It's normally a 50-50 toss-up if we do qualify. So I do agree with you there in terms of maybe focusing on the shorter formats of the game. Let's talk about Brad Evans quickly. He has fired, come spurning into the team. A lot of times he was left off the team list, but since his introduction, he has been blazing. What are your thoughts on that talent?
I took a lot of stick because I'm a big supporter of Brad Evans. Mm-hmm. I believe he is an exceptional talent. I believe he can bowl in all three formats of the game: Test cricket, ODI, T20s. He can swing a bat. He's a useful bowler, and he just brings that stability into the side and the support for Ngarava and Mazarabani. And as your first change bowler, for me, his name is on that sheet. And you've got to give the guy credit because he was left out. He was virtually dropped, not even talked about for a period of time. He ran off to the UK, played some cricket there, and really got stuck in and got a recall and came back, and he's taken it with both hands and his feet, and he has delivered, and he has got a bright future, and I think he will certainly be in that Zimbabwe setup if I was the head of selectors in all three formats of the game. I think he's an exceptional player. He knows how he moves that ball well. You just watch him in the first two T20s against Afghanistan. He bowled superbly. His run rate is just phenomenal. He just bowls in the right place, and great player. And I'm glad he's back in the fold.
Yeah, glad he's back as well. We already touched on it. Looking ahead to that triangular, so we played a lot of T20. We played a lot of one day. What are your sort of expectations? We're playing Pakistan, Sri Lanka, teams that are still in the top 10, but on the lower side of that top 10 spectrum. What are your expectations?
Still good. They're still good teams.
Yeah, of course.
And I think we are going to have to play good cricket to compete against those sides,
Okay.
no matter what. I'm a firm believer. I'm not wanting to put Zimbabwe down, but they are going to have to play out of their skins to get
So-
any results there.
Especially in Asia as well.
What's a reasonable outcome for us there?
In that series, if we can get a win or 2 wins in that tournament, I think we've done well.
Right. Out of 6 games.
Yeah, I think we've done well.
You've done well, okay. And it hasn't been announced yet, but normally there's a Boxing Day test. You said you're not really a fan.
Yeah, look, no, I love Boxing Day cricket. I'm a great supporter of Boxing Day cricket. I think that's the best medicine after a good Christmas day is to sit and watch some fantastic Boxing Day cricket. I'm not too sure what the plan is with Zimbabwe as yet on the calendar, but I'm a great supporter of Boxing Day cricket. But incidentally, going away from cricket, no more English Premiership matches on Boxing Day.
Only
That's
one
now
game, I
stopped,
think, is
just
it?
the
Yeah.
one game now. And it's something that, I don't know, that's changing in the world.
That's TV rights. I
TV
believe.
rights, yes. And the same could apply with cricket. But yeah, I would love to see a Boxing Day test match here.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe, perhaps. But the year as a whole for Zimbabwe cricket, I think a lot of cricketing people who don't know much about cricket would say it's been a very bad year for us. I would say the opposite. We've played tough competition. Yes, a lot of results haven't gone our way, but for doing the right things, we've had the busiest schedule we've had in a very long time, playing top competition. What's your overall view of the men's Chevron?
I would sum it up as an average season. I would say average. I think we could have done better in a lot of the games. I think a lot of selection. There was a lot of selection question marks that I certainly raised my eyebrows to. But I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it would be good if we went to Pakistan now and, as I said, won 2 games out of the 6 that we play. I would say that would top off the year, and we would be above average for a year of cricket.
Has it not told us where our level is, that we are more a team that should be playing Afghanistan, Ireland, and just learn when we play the other ones?
Yeah. And I mean, don't forget, years ago, Afghanistan were nowhere really to be seen. And suddenly now they're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Rashid Khan walks into any T20 franchise team in the world.
Right.
Wherever there's a signing looking for a spinner, they are going to be looking at Rashid Khan.
Yeah, so let us know what your thoughts are on the Zimbabwe cricketing year. Has it been a good year, average year, below average? What are some of your favourite moments and highlights from that year? Steve, remember last week we had Dion Kamalo on the show, Sable's player. We'll link that video in the description. He recently played over the weekend in the Zambezi Sevens Challenger, and we made it to the finals, the Cheetah versus the Kenya Morans, and we just lost out 14-0.
More old enemies there. Hey? They've denied us on bigger stages before as well, but really good that we had this tournament and high level of competition for the Cheetahs.
Yeah, obviously good preparation. There wasn't as much of a turnout as there have been in previous years. It could have been the weather as well. It was quite deceptively cold, a bit of drizzly weather. But it was good to see the Cheetahs back in action again and playing very well. We also had on Parlors, which is the ladies' sevens. They were up against we also had our Warthogs. They're up against the Impalas, the ladies Zambezi Zambia seven side, and we just lost out in the finals 19-12. So all around good movement in the rugby scene and a really good space. We've got a couple of things to talk about in Rumours and Rubbish. It is Ngezi, who owe a large sum of money, and also picking up from cricket. Sean Williams has been let go from the cricketing side. We'll be diving into that story. After 20 years of service in the Zimbabwe Chevrons, Sean Williams' career has come to an abrupt, some thought surprising end the Zimbabwe Cricketing Board has let him go over alleged drug abuse, which is obviously very unfortunate, very sad. And obviously there's no space for drugs in sport. However, there are questions about the manner in which the Cricketing Board did it. A, did they do enough to protect him? B, maybe should have kept it private, maybe privacy reasons. But there's so many speculations as to the manner in which this was done, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, sport reflects society in general. We know there's a drug problem in Zimbabwe, which has been growing, and Wesley Madaveri, among those first cricketers who were falling foul of taking drugs in a well-publicised story. For Sean, it makes sense now. If you look back, there have been periods where he wasn't available for selection, so it all makes sense now. But it's really sad. The statement from Zimbabwe Cricket was blunt or terse, you might say. I thought they might have said...
I think it was in bad taste.
Yeah.
Very bad taste.
They might have said, we look forward to having him on as a coach in years to come. Maybe. It was very abrupt, I thought.
Yeah, I certainly, when I read that statement, I was sad and disappointed in that a guy that has given 20 years of service to Zimbabwe cricket, scored over 9,000 runs in Test cricket, T20 cricket, ODI cricket, that he can be treated like that. The guy needed help. He was in trouble, and I 100% support that we do not condone drug abuse and drug use in sport or in anything, anywhere. And I just think it could have been handled a lot better by Zimbabwe cricket, and allowed him to make a statement and allowed him possibly to make an announcement and retire from the game due to personal issues, and leave it at that, and let him go on his way, and maybe assist him to come right. But I'm a little bit disappointed, and there was a lot of on social media about the whole thing as well, and a lot of fans really upset as to how he has been treated in this manner.
And you got two types of drug abuse or use. One is performance enhancing, which was not the case here. We assume it was recreational, which is where a person really needs help if they're getting into addictions like that. So.
I'm not sure if you remember a while back with Kangisa Rabada. Kangisa Rabada had a drug problem, and South African cricket dealt with it. He spent a month away from the game, got the necessary help, and he's back playing again.
Yeah. So it's more supporting that the Cricketing Board hasn't
absolutely.
done. Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts and comments. Obviously, it's very sad for one of the veterans to go out this way, but let us know what you guys think. Ngezi Platinum Stars, they owe almost $200,000 after the unfair release of Bongani Mafu, termination of the contract a bit too early, and after a couple years of in the courtroom, it's been ruled out that $200,000 is owed. So Simba, your thoughts on this outcome? Ngezi, do they even have this money? Obviously, it's unfortunate timing as we get to the end of the season, renewing contracts, all of that. What do they do from here?
I think it's going to be really difficult for them because the money is too much, and there's also money that is owed to Benjani, and they were together at Ngezi Platinum Stars. So I think it's also a wake-up call to most of our clubs, because they've been doing that for years when it comes to local coaches. They didn't really respect the local coaches. They would just willy-nilly cancel the contracts without, also meeting the bargain of the coaches. So for Bongani Mafu, I think he's a different breed of coaches, because remember, he was a high school French teacher for years, exposure, worked outside the country for years. So he just said, I'm going to teach them a lesson, take them head on, and he managed to win. Because if you look at most of our coaches, even at national level, from Sunday Chidzama, Kalisto Pasua, Nomen Mapeza, they are still owed a lot of money. And for our coaches, most of them don't go and report the local clubs to FIFA, because they'll be thinking, if I want a job next, what am I going to do? They'll be afraid maybe they're going to tell the next club, no, don't employ him because he will take you to FIFA. But I think when it comes to the rights of the coaches, You need the coaches to stand for their rights and get what is due to them.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what Bongani Mafu did.
And it's so clear FIFA will support the one who is on the right side contractually. We've seen it with Warriors coaches, Valinios and so on. You just won't win there if you don't fulfill the contract. There's probably legal fees that Ngezi have to pay as well, so they could have actually settled this outside of court. But it's, like I say, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's something that they don't have. So for the sake of the PSL, Zimbabwe football, should ZIFA get involved? Are they allowed to help financially? Should they, or is it something that Ngezi, they've made their
ZIFA
bids?
at the moment doesn't even have the money themselves. I think it's about that academic arrogance that you get from most of these executives. You know, when the coaches come in, and even the players, we also left the players. If you ask quite a number of players, they would tell you that we left so many clubs without being paid our own sign-on fees. That's the reason why you see most of the players towards the end of the season, they start striking. Why? Because they know that once you get to the end of the season without you being paid and your contract elapses, it will be difficult to get that money. So I think this is a wake-up call to most of our clubs and administrators, because at the end of the day, it is now the club, the company and the club that are going to suffer because of the arrogance of somebody who was on that post.
Yeah, so interesting. Obviously, a lot of money that Ngezi Platinum owe. Also, Knowledge Masona owes FIFA nearly $6,000, just over, after the red card against Bafana. Not an incredible amount of money, but also will hurt the pockets a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, and it's a bit embarrassing as well, isn't it, in a World Cup qualifier? But that was a second yellow card. It was a bad kick out at the player. Fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. So it's justified that fine.
Yeah.
Just to keep the game going. So a lot of things going on. Even in the PSL, there's rumored that we might be expanding to 20 teams in the PSL. We spoke about this actually last week. About maybe should they do it, should they not do it, maybe to provide teams a bit more breathing room in Division 1 coming up, or also for teams who are quite strong who might be relegated. Simba, there are lots of thoughts on this. Some say no, because it means that a lot of teams who don't have the financial backing get promoted, and then it's just a whole big shambles. What do you think about extending the league to 20 teams?
I think probably if they're talking about cutting the number of teams, because you look at most of the teams that we have, they'll be struggling financially. And this year was also a bad advertisement, because you have a team like Kwekwe United, only one win the whole season, and have been struggling financially. And you look at even the other teams that are also at the tail end of the log standings. So I thought maybe if they were saying we are going to cut the number to say 16, and we have real competition, and also say the teams that are also gaining promotion, that's when they are also going to have, look at the finances of those teams and implement the club licensing, the financial criteria, and say how much do you have in your account, what is your bank balance at the moment, are you able to fulfill the fixtures, are you also going to pay the players minimum amount of money as salary, so that we are going to see real competition. And most of these teams, we should not just be about playing the game for the senior teams alone. We should also be having teams, having the junior teams, having the reserve side also playing on the same day that the senior team will be playing.
Yeah. You get popularity if you expand the league. This is how we moved from 16 to 18 teams. Was that 2017, I think?
Yes.
Was it when Philip Chiangwa was the ZIFA president, and we got the Central and Eastern region getting places in the PSL, which probably got him more votes at the ZIFA elections. So it gets you popularity, but our football's not ready for this at all. And it's quite hard if you've gone through that Division 1 campaign, then to have playoffs. And of those 4 regional champions, maybe only 2 get promoted. Very hard if we do that, but it's actually better for football because then we've got teams that are financially stable, because we might see a team like Green Fuel or Bigita Minerals getting relegated. We'll see what happens on matchday 34. Triangle, very solid administrations that they have. Green Fuel with their new stadium as well. So it'll be a shame to see a team that's solid like that getting relegated, probably for a team that has not got the financial wherewithal to do so. If you look as well at the Eastern region, so many teams still in the relegation picture now, it tells you that they're not strong enough. Yeah.
Yes, because you look at, I think we already have Kwekwe United relegated, but there's a possibility that the other 3 teams are going to come from the Eastern region.
Being Monica Diamonds, who else?
Monica Diamonds, Greenfield, Triangle, Bigita Minerals, all they are in danger. So if one of them escapes, then the other 3 are not going to escape. It's going to be difficult. Yada is also in the Eastern region as well.
Yeah. Well, so lots going on as we enter the end of the season. Obviously, relegation battles are going on, but also players will be signing new contracts, renewing contracts, moving across. And in the last episode on the Scotland FC podcast, Scott Sakupwanya said that he would like a Denver Mukamba back into the Scotland side. Simba, is this a possibility? Is it almost certain? What do you think? Or is he comfortable at Dynamo's?
I think as a popularity move, just maybe to win the hearts of the fans, you just do it. But looking where they will be going next year, they would want to defend the title one. They'll also be playing in Africa. Let's be honest, Denver will not last the mile playing in Africa. And, he's just a player who is just be brought in the last 15 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, and then just, to set up the fans also on the stands. I think that's what, but he's mostly suited well doing that at Dynamo's more than you would do it at Scotland.
Yeah. Number 1 fan favourite, former soccer star of the year. Not so much to offer on the pitch, but he has had some great moments, a few of them this season, but only as a sub. And if you're going into CAF Champions League, can you afford a spot in your squad for Denver just because he's box office? Maybe it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's also one of the concerns I had for him, obviously his game time. But yeah, maybe a couple of cameo roles. I think he is better suited at Dynamo's, also in the age. So yeah, not looking good for the game time that he has. And speaking of game time, we had lots of entries for last week's game time. So well done to those 4 winners who got last week's question, which was which 2 teams hold the record for the most consecutive Castle Lager Premier Soccer League titles? And the answer is Dynamo's and FC Platinum. So well done to those of you who got it right. This week's game time question is, what's the nationality of the newly appointed Warriors coach, Mario Marinica? So that's the question this week. Guys, it's been a phenomenal episode. Thank you, Marc and Simba, for sitting in the fan zone with us. It's going to be interesting to see how the Warriors fare, the cricket or Chevrons, how they do in the triangular. But if you've enjoyed this episode, remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell so that you're alerted every time we upload a video. Also, if you're feeling lucky, you want to try one more prediction, maybe to try something, fanzone.co.zw, sign yourself up, see how it feels for next week. If you're already doing the predictions, make sure you lock in because we're coming up to the last week, which will be next weekend of predictions. But that's us from the Fanzone studio. We'll see you guys in the next episode.